Now, there's no doubt about it that by far, one of the most anticipated Star Wars TV shows of 2023 is no other than the Ahsoka Tano series starring Rosario Dawson. That's going to include characters like Thrawn, Ezra Bridger, Sabine Wren, Era Syndulla, and a whole lot more in the mix as well. And with Tales of the Jedi on the horizon, a lot of fans are beginning to get more into the lore and mythology side of Star Wars, right? So anyways, this is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new universe between Favreau, Filoni, and Lucas is, as we have said multiple times, Star Wars Legends is coming back in all its glory. The highlights of Legends will be the main focus, taking key elements from the Thrawn Trilogy, Dark Empire, Shadows of the Empire, and a whole lot more on the horizon that's going to make its way into this new universe, so to speak. Now that brings us to the next subject that's even all the more involved, and exactly how it actually roots back to George Lucas, the creator and father of Star Wars, right? Now, when you look at everything related to what's been going on behind the scenes, I gotta give Chapek credit for this. He allows Favreau and Filoni to do exactly what they want to do on a creative scale. And that's exactly why I believe Star Wars is gonna have a very big success rate starting in 2023, technically the end of this year as well with Tales, and there's a lot of things on the horizon. So with that being said, what's even all the more exciting is exactly what George Lucas is getting involved in, what he convinced the Disney executives to allow Favreau and Filoni to do in Star Wars shows, one of which we will be talking about in a second, and what it really entails. So with creator George Lucas assisting both Favreau and Filoni with several Star Wars projects, Disney executives are trying their best to turn things around for the fandom by paying attention to what best suits Star Wars. Most recently, one of the big developments that has occurred involves how it was Lucas that convinced Disney executives to do something special for the Star Wars fandom that involves some of the fan favorite characters. Now, it's noted that Lucas is set to take part in a scene where he will be directing it for Mando 4 that involves a sequence in which the Force Ghost of Anakin visits both Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker on the world of Ossus, the moment that Luke completes his Jedi training school. Now, the temple here looks just as it appeared in The Last Jedi, with some slight modifications due to some of the storyboard descriptions. It's in this moment that Anakin's Force Ghost warns Luke about Ben Solo's struggles, and Luke confirms that he has felt it too. It turns out that Ben Solo struggles, and Luke confirms that he has actually felt it, and turns out that the idea that actually Anakin brings up, that Ben Solo should be the first student under his academy on Ossus. Now, the whole scene is storyboarded and will be handled by Lucas to also focus on a moment where Ahsoka then points out that Luke's nephew holds some kind of familiar traits to Vader, and that it is risky. I want to stop right here for 1 second, alright? Now, this kind of attaches to what Leia says, or Han Solo says, I should make that, correction there, in The Force Awakens, where he says about Ben Solo that there's so much Vader within him. There's too much Vader in him, right? Acting as if there's no salvation for him, alright? Now, when we look at a character like Ahsoka, here, in this scenario, she's the one pointing it out, that Ben Solo, pretty much, going under the ways of the Jedi when he has these dark side tendencies at such a later age is risky, apparently according to Ahsoka, because let's not forget, she's used to the way things were during the events of the prequels, and then Luke, in the storyboards, actually is disagreeing with Ahsoka that, he has older Jedi students of his own that are actually doing just fine on Yavin 4. All of this is storyboarded, by the way, and finalized for Mando 4. They're setting up this new academy. So let's be clear that the retcon is that Ben Solo is going to be the first student under Luke Skywalker, but not, generally speaking, the first student on Ossus at the actual younger Jedi training school, so to speak. Now, the next thing I think is really going to kind of make fans raise an eyebrow here, because this is an excellent idea that Lucas is allowing to make, and how it's going to date back to the prequel trilogy. We'll tap into that right now. So, this is where Anakin informs Luke and Ahsoka of what choice do they have, and that if they do nothing, it will only be worse. The scene is described to mimic, alright, it's set to mimic the energy of the Jedi Council, as seen in the prequels, where multiple Jedi are debating on a certain subject. And I love that, alright? So basically what this scene is doing is that it's kind of giving you that energy, that overall tone of multiple Jedi, adding in different points, adding in different opinions, debating what they should do, what they should not do. And as we saw plenty of that in episodes 1 through 3, they're now going to establish that type of energy in The Mandalorian Season 4 inside of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple on Ossus. Alright? Now, in Legends, Ossus actually has a lot of indigenous people that live on that world that are very force sensitive and have the ability to become Jedi. This is all told, by the way, in Dark Empire 3. I do suggest that you guys go ahead and check that out, because Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni want to borrow elements from Dark Empire as well. Now, moving on, the scene is described to also then pick up and is planned to occur between Anakin, Ahsoka, and Luke. Anakin's ghost points out that what made him fall to the dark side, and warns Luke that it's not just about greed, fear of loss, or losing somebody, but that neglect can even be dangerous for young Solo. So it is canon that the main reason why Ben Solo turned to the darkness, alright, is because of neglect. His father, Han Solo, was always busy doing smuggling runs and racing in the Millennium Falcon and doing all these things, if you guys have read the books. Meanwhile, Leia was held up with the political side and handling the rebellion, or the resistance, alright? And with that, Snoke comes into the picture, who is basically Palpatine, and acts like as this goody-goody guy, right? Really kind of just showing him that he's very empathetic for Ben Solo and what he's going through. And because of that, Ben Solo falls to the darkness, because he falls into Snoke's trap. Snoke basically, piece by piece, breaks down Ben Solo into becoming Kylo Ren. And if you guys have read the comics, it's actually pretty good. So overall, at the end of the day, what George Lucas is setting up here for Mando 4 is not just a reunion between all three characters, both Luke and Ahsoka meeting Anakin again, but also the introduction of Ben Solo by reference and also by visuals. They're actually going to plan to insert him as a cameo in Mando 4, since it does take place years after Mando 3, where the temple will be finally complete on Ossus. So anyways, guys, there's a lot of work being done on Mando 4 right now, storyboard-wise, script-wise as well. They're not going to begin filming until later next year, so we got a ways. This might not even come out until holiday of 24. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.